Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Keep on the Borderlands for another bit of something new. Hope you're all having a good day. As promised in the last one, we're going to have a little look at something monk side this time around. I have been doing a couple of Dragon Disciple lives and just messing about with various combinations of that. And it was while I was doing some fighter lives that I realized that going all the way up the Kensai tree, you could basically have any weapon you wanted be a centering weapon and tally well with the monk class. So I thought to myself, as I'm pretty much set up to do sort of two-handed melee leveling with this character at the moment, why not, rather than just tack monk levels on the end and call it good and not be centered, why not see what we could get out of being centered? So that's going to be the subject of this one. We're going to do a Kensai fighter, but it's going to be centered with some nice monk bits backing it up. So for those of you who haven't played monk before, I'm starting here at level 2. I've done a bit in the Korthos Island area just to get me to the second level. I've started with 2 levels of Dragon Disciple Monk. Now, Monk, for those of you who didn't know, the first 2 levels you do get to choose from some decent monk feats that you can choose, a bit like the fighter. So I've taken two-handed fighting and power attack for the first 2 monk feats. I think you get another one at 6, don't you? I've taken power attack and not precision. I would always normally take precision on a non-raging build, which this obviously is. If we do any kind of rage, including the orcish action boost, we break our centering. So that wouldn't be the best plan, I don't think, for this build. So normally, if I was going to the cap and especially doing things at the cap, I would have chosen precision above this power attack. But because we're only doing a quick 1 to 20 and the power attack synergizes, as we've just seen, with the with the orc tree as well. Orc is kind of a shoe-in for the any kind of two-handed melee build. All this line gets you some tasty extra to hit and damage. Very nice. Helping power attack, extra action boost if you want it. There is, when you get high enough level, there's more strength down here in the cores. There is the nice option of brutality for extra damage to helpless opponents, which I have picked up this time around because our standard feat for level 1, I took Stunning Blow. I thought it was a strength build. Let's have a play around with that. So we're going to have some fun, hopefully, with Stunning Blow and Trip. So why did I start with 2 levels of monk if it's going to be a fighter base? I wanted to get the evasion on board quickly, and I also thought that given that we are getting 2 free feats anyway for the first 2 levels of monk, I just thought why not do it that way and benefit from the evasion straight away, so we can hopefully not have too much trouble with the traps. Let's just take you through quickly what I've done with the stats. Skills, I've hardly put any points in intelligence, so I'm not really doing anything with skills. I've put some points in concentration, as that's going to help with the key side of things. I think it tells you there, does it? Yes, for characters with key, concentration allows you to retain more base key and slows the rate at which your key dissipates. I don't actually plan on doing too much with the key, but that's one of the things that being centered would help with if you've got some special attacks that you plan to use. Also, the monk trance called Clear Your Mind, I think it's called, which is available in the 3rd tier of both the Dragon Disciple and the henshin tree. We obviously can't use the henshin tree because the Dragon Disciple replaces that on this archetype. But very nice trans. I've experimented with this and I found it to be way less clunky than something like the Dragonborn one is. The instances of pressing the key and it not going off, very few, if at all. And because it's activated on key and it's not charge based, we've always got the opportunity to use it, so it should be permanently up, no problem at all. The other nice thing about this, unlike some of the other more popular ones in the universal trees, like the know the angles in Harper, or you've got the one in Falconry, which is, where is it? Is it that one? That's it, Deadly Instinct. Neither of those gives you insight bonus to attack. You can see there's just bonus to damage and tactical DCs, whereas this one is giving an insight to attack as well, which is very nice, especially when you get to the cap if you're playing on legendary difficulties and the misses or grazing shots start to accrue. You really do appreciate that extra bonus to attack. I'm mentioning this as well because at the cap, it's come to my notice that there isn't exactly a wide array of gear that you can equip to get this insight bonus to attack. So having it as part of your trans is a very nice thing indeed, in my opinion. We're missing out on the haste boost by not going fighter straight away. In fact, we could have gone straight into Kensai for early haste boost. But we are in the Dragon Disciple tree. We get a bit of melee power, a bit more universal spell power, which does help our imbue, which we've picked up there. That's another thing that we can only use if we are centered. I've gone with the cold one just because I happen to have a cold ring equipped at the moment, but it's not the best choice. I would go with acid or electric if you have a choice. I've just put the runic trinket in there in the trinket slot to give a bit more spell power. We're sitting on about 100 cold spell power, which isn't terrible, but not amazing. Imbues can't crit, if you didn't know, so no advantage in having any extra crit chance for the cold, at least not for the imbue side of things. So we've seen already the orc tree. I've put my other points because we are a Dragon Disciple. We've got magical training by default, which has given me the option just to put 3 points here in Feydark to get the illusory weaponry. And once we trigger this, our weapon, you can see there, becomes force. Can you see at the bottom the material type is force? So it can't now be damaged, and it's fine against ooze and all that kind of stuff, so no need to mess about changing stuff. Also, it gives, I think it gives it, yes, you can see at the top, imbued by shadow, a +1 enhancement bonus. So not too bad at all. It's saying there, wisdom to heat. You use wisdom for it. Oh, that's that's another element of the Dragon Disciple, isn't it? So the first core gives wisdom to heat. I presume, well, I hope that's only if it's better than your strength, which ours clearly isn't. And then the second core gives wisdom to damage, among other things. Is that right? Yeah, wisdom to damage there at the bottom. Again, on the condition of being centered. I have tested this imbue, and when uncentered, like if we had a great axe instead of the quarterstaff, it doesn't work. The nice thing about it is it does stay toggled on, whereas another benefit of being centered, the monk stance, the sun stance or water stance, whatever you choose, I've chosen the sun stance here to give us extra strength. Unfortunately, it's a penalty on wisdom, so that's going to slightly damage our translator when we pick it up, but hey ho. But that does toggle off when, like, I have a little throwing axe that I In fact, I'll demonstrate it. I just keep it around for triggering levers and that kind of thing, or if there's anything that's annoying that's harassing from distance that I can't get to. Maybe like in the Crucible, there are those opponents up on the top of the maze that you can't get to apart from ranged. I'm in the wrong thing, aren't I? So returning throwing axe. So if you see now, as soon as I equip that, it's telling me I'm not centered, not proficient, and that's toggled off, but that's stayed on. So it's just something to look out for. The other big source of losing that stance is on in being encumbered, and that tends to happen when some kind of fatigue or exhaustion or something spell is cast on us, and then that just triggers off. So it's just something to keep an eye on, because it is a little bit annoying. I would much prefer it to operate like this, all was on when we are centered, and then to come back when we get centered again, rather than have to remember to toggle it back on or realize that it's been toggled off and I haven't seen it. So quick look at the where I've put the points here. So you can see there I can just trigger it now immediately. 2 strength and -2 wisdom. So I maxed strength. I put some in dex because our evasion is obviously going to use that for the reflex saves. Some in con as normal, and the remainder in wisdom because we plan to use the clear your mind battle trance that I showed just now in the Dragon Disciple. Feats I've already mentioned. So, as well as little bits and pieces from the Dragon Disciple tree, we also do get access to some spells. I've taken the resist energies just to throw on when we are needing, like for instance against the kobolds in the waterworks chain, the electric thing would be quite helpful. It's only 10 extra that we get, but it's something. Where else have we? I think the enhancements is done. Yeah, so just a word then about other things that you may or may not know that you can benefit from while centered. I'm using the quarterstaff. I plan to use quarterstaves up until level 12, which is when we can become centered using all sorts of weapons by using the tier 5 in the Kensai fighter tree. So we're going to use things like this is just the one from the Borderlands here, the ethereal one, in case we get a Reaper. Then we've got I can show you in the bank, can't I? We've got a couple of nice ones to go at. So we got the Chieftain Spear from a boss enemy called Brine it's close to the Ghost of a Chance teleport area in the Three Barrel Cove wilderness. It's quite a nice one for the expanded crit profile it has. And then later on, if you saw the Monk series, I think it was called The Battles of Brother Purple, I did a quarterstaff Monk series, and we made very good use of this elemental bloom. The paralyzing thing on there goes off quite often and is very nice. Couple that with the freezing from the Ruby of the Snow Peaks, and we have some half decent CC on there. Also a nice crit profile. You can see the crit multiplier there is ×3, which is pretty nice to have. So that's my plan, to go with quarterstaves until 12, and then we just go with the standard Sword of Shadow that I picked up from the reward box that they had for the Year of the Dragon. Okay. I don't think there's anything else at the moment. So I thought maybe we could, for the first one, have a go round the Borderlands, see how we stack up. Oh, I was going to mention, wasn't I, the other things that centering brings. Let me just bring it up so I'm not leaving out anything important. So the evasion for the 2 levels of monk applies regardless. We don't lose that whatever we do, whether we're centered, not centered, it doesn't matter. So that's one thing that we get regardless. But there's plenty of stuff that we receive for being centered that toggles off when we are not. So the armor class bonus, fast movement, and the slow fall, which I quite like, that also toggles off. Of course, we've already mentioned the stance that would toggle off immediately, as you've seen when we become uncentered. The key as well, if you're doing anything with key, the key bar drains very rapidly and just stays at 0 when you're not centered. So later on for us, that would mean we couldn't use our trance, because the clear your mind trance requires 35 key to activate. Now, when you're hammering away at things and generating key all over the place, that's very easy to spend to keep up. But if you had no centering to help the key, I could see that being quite a problem. Okay, let's go and see what mischief we can get up to in the Borderlands, if I can go the right way. So my plan is, after these 2 levels of monk, to bang in the 8 levels of fighter, going up the Kensai tree, and then the rest will be monk, because I'm looking for the Dragon Disciple past life. So at level 12, as with many builds, I hope and believe it'll come together quite nicely with that tier 5 from the Kensai that allows us to be centered with any weapon. So in this case, it's going to be the two-handed sword, the Sword of Shadows.
Small, squalid cave entrances dot the ravine walls. These must be
So although we don't have haste
chaos,
boost to start with, we do have a little bit of extra strength here from the sun stance. We've got our cold imbue. We have a weapon here that won't be damaged by anything, hopefully. Now, what are we liable to come up against opponents damage-wise? Electric, cold maybe. I'll put fire and acid as well. Now they're only going to... Oh, look at them. They're only lasting 2 minutes. Oh, that was silly. I should have just left that. Of course, we're only level 2, so we only get 2 minutes worth. I've got my Cure Serious healing potions along here.
Whispery voices and scraping sounds announce the presence of undead.
So at least it is having an effect, the cold imbue on these undeads. From memory, when I looked into this a while back, I think it's just the skeleton types that take 0. The zombie and whatnot take the cold damage, so that's something. Stun and trip working nicely. Codex page duly picked up. Okay. We can see the little purple outline on the staff of the imbue. I think I'm right in saying that lasts 5 minutes per cast. Is that right? Yes, 5 minutes at the start. I think once we start going up the levels, it would, like if we got to say level 10, it would go to 10 then, I think. Yeah, we do miss the haste boost, but having a two-handed, having the strike through is still very nice. Famine Reaper there. I think we could do with getting rid of that. Of course, the stunning thing won't work on that. But it will work on you. And the trip. Nice. That's another reason I picked up the stunning blow, because like the trip, when you're on a strike through build like this, you're hitting multiple targets with it, so getting a lot more value out of it. Come on, come all. Oh, hello. I think something else to mention about the quarterstaff. It's generally accepted that the reach of the weapon is wider than, say, a greatsword or any others in the two-handed class.
Whispery voices call to you. You shouldn't be here.
Which is advantageous when you've got things like Reapers and you can keep them at a reasonable distance, like using other opponents. You can see our imbue's not working at all on those. Just what's it called?
And is then cut short.
The little ruby of shock that we've got in our weapon was working there. I've had trouble in here in the past when I haven't had a true sight. I've got true sight on the goggles. I've had trouble in here in the past when I haven't had anything to reveal that secret door, and I've killed the boss, because he normally is the one that opens this for you. Helm, I don't actually have a helm at the moment. Thank you, game. Just pick it all up. It's not actually that terrible, is it? We'll keep it. Okay, so that was the worst one out of the way. Suppose we were a bit less speedy without the haste boost, but the substantial investment in the orc tree is carrying us through, I think.
You can see Knoll guards ahead, blocking the entrance to their camp. Just as you brace yourself for a fight, another Knoll calls out to you in a shrill voice. Eula Bloodgleam, daughter of the Knoll chieftain,
One of the slight downsides to the imbue in this tree is that it scales, as you can see there, off spell power, because this is the magic themed monk. The one in Henshin, I think, goes off either melee or ranged power, 150%. So that would have been better for us than this. This one implies that we have to equip some sort of spell power item to help it. I decided not to try meddling with the castery side of things with the Dragon Disciple. Not because I don't enjoy hybrids. I had a good time with the Eldritch Knight, when we did that, if memory serves, I had some investment onto the enchantment side, so I combined a mass hold with the melee type of stuff as well, and it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't have fancied gearing for it at the cap though, with the need for spell DCs and melee related stuff, and that's why I haven't really mixed the castery stuff with the melee here, because I would have, for best use of these, where are we? They get these little spells, don't they? For best results, you need some meta magics on them, and the same goes for these SLAs available in the trees. I think there's another one there, and maybe another one up here as well. Yeah. So I would need maximize, empower, the usual stuff to get the best results from them, which I obviously don't have. So sticking with the melee, broadly speaking, and just seeing what nice things we can benefit from by being centered.
Oro's Sandcloak lets you in on a secret. Chief Bloodgleam has been lying to the Outlanders about sending their comrades to join the cult. If you can prove that Outlanders are being killed as sacrifices instead, it will destroy their loyalty to the Chief.
Just to reiterate, I'm using this excellent dungeon helper thing, which is posted in the forum by a very helpful soul called Rabid Fox. It's dead easy, and you just have it running in the background, and it picks up automatically, well, what you ask it to. In my case, the mysterious remnants and the crafting things like here. Look, could just run near the thing, and it picks it up for you. So you don't have to keep stopping and trying to click on elusive little things as you go. So big thanks to him again for that.
Boomfoot reveals that Zark Soot Club, the renowned Outlander fighter, can't stand the sight of blood. Time to let Zark know what you know.
I think, as well as being a nice alternative to the Korthos Island starting this area, it's nice that it has the epic
nods in agreement.
Options to it too. I often will go around the Borderlands as a new level 20 just to ease myself into epic, which obviously the first area, the Korthos, doesn't have, and I'm guessing it probably won't. Misery's Peak would be a nice one to try as epic, I think.
Have you forgotten everything the cult has done for you idiots? The Outlanders seem to reconsider, but you have something that will convince them.
What might they use spell-wise? Electric?
And reveal that you found it in the Chief's shrine. Chief said Greymaw joined the cult! Someone shouts. But Greymaw never took off that ring! He's dead, and we'll be next! Another group of gnolls.
Okay, let's try a trip.
Chamber.
That's nice.
You think you've won against the onslaught of gnoll cultists, but then another wave. You look around at the blood-stained earth.
Happy
Not a
days.
single cultist remains standing. The Outlanders cheer, relieved that they can finally leave the Borderlands behind. Those fools! I can't
I think this needs to be... Oh, that needs to be unlocked, doesn't it? So I could have taken the
There must be more to
lock
these
bash
two than it
thing
initially
in
seemed.
the orc
With
tree,
Chief
but I
Bloodgrave
don't
and
think
the other
that's working. I
cultists out
think
of
it
the
uses
way,
only
Eula and
intimidate and
Aura
not
can
the strength
finally escape into the
modifier,
wilds
so I think we
together.
might struggle to get
As
that
they
to do
turn to
anything.
leave, Eula tells you to hold on to the charm of evil chaos she gave you, in case you need help defeating the rest of the cult. You enter the caves, determined to eliminate another threat to the
Seemed to
residents
go
of
the
the
wrong
keep.
way there.
As the last goblin dies, you notice something glittering in the debris under the makeshift wooden walkway. The lock on this
I'm
stout
always
door
kind of looking
does
for my
not
haste
look
boost and
pickable.
finding it to
The
be not
guardroom
there,
door
but
opens
honestly
with
it
the
would be
squeal of
total
metal on
overkill
metal,
doing this
rousing the guards on the far side.
in most situations. Somewhere like here it might be quite useful, but we do have the stunning thing and the trip as well, so it's still not terrible. Of course, we're making full use of the bloated armor class that we have from past lives and also from being a monk.
As the
59 at
door
level 2,
opens,
that's
a
ridiculous.
small goblin cries out, "Me, Chief, now! You
86%
go
miss
away!
chance. I think we could even do better.
The goblin falls.
The default
Looking around, you
starter
spot an
item,
iron key on the
armor,
back of the chamber.
was something that gave mage armor. It was a mage armor clickable, so we could have had even higher. You do get shield, by the way, as well. In fact, I should probably have chosen it over these little resistance things. There's a spell, because if we get done by magic missiles at the moment, we're going to be very vulnerable.
This heavy
Perhaps I could
iron-bound door
change that
is
at a
fitted with an
shrine.
unpickable magical lock. The
Trip.
door swings open on well-oiled hinges, startling the hobgoblins on the far side.
You can configure the dungeon helper to pick up souls as well. Well, first of all, I don't really need them. And secondly, I figure if ever I was suddenly going into a group and I'd forgotten to switch it off, I think I could lose friends very quickly by hoovering up all the souls by accident.
Perhaps the magical runes on the wall are the key to opening it.
Okay, let's go get stuck in. Lead with the stun. Lovely. Leading with the trip now. Back to the stun. So hopefully we can have at least one of those two off cooldown for each new big group that comes, so we can at least make some inroads into the front rank before they start to... Yeah, there we go. That was a magic missile. We didn't like that very much, did we? I think we've got some archers behind us.
Something about this section of
That
the
fear
wall
effect
seems
there is
off.
on the armor that I'm wearing. It's a Kenneth crafted
making
thing that
barely a
basically
sound.
suits every character. Light fortification, fearsome, and invulnerability. Oh, hello. The invulnerability is 5 DR against, I think it's non-magical weapons. Very quickly, all characters that you could come up against start to use magical stuff, so that very quickly becomes redundant. But just for the first couple of
The
levels,
hobgoblin
it's
chieftain
quite a nice little
bursts out of
thing
his
to
throne with
lean
a
on.
roar. The hobgoblin chieftain slumps to the ground, dead.
Ah, so now we have the option, and probably should take it, to switch to electric imbue. Shall we do that? Why not? So the imbues are all there under the enhancements. So power in practice, electric. We should find a lot. Oh, what have I done that for? We should find a lot less resistant or immune to that than we had with the cold. And actually, I think he's got some Storm Singer past lives, hasn't he? So the electric one is actually a bit higher than the cold one was. So happy days. We're going across there.
Small, squalid cave entrances dot the ravine walls.
That's
These
still
must
something
be the
I'd quite
caves of
like to do
chaos,
one
where the
day.
cultists and their monster
To do
allies have made their base.
a life where I'm just relying entirely on whatever's been picked up. I mean, I see people pushing levels with crazy souped up gear, with all these cursed card things on leveling gear and Reaper hats and God knows what else. But I seldom see the reverse. It's quite nice to put value into, random loot and whatever you find in chests and end rewards, rather than everything being gear, gear sets and all everything optimal. I'm going to try and jump over this trap. Watch me fail miserably.
Most of the
I
kobolds
tried
scramble
using
to defend their cave at the sight of you, while one of their numbers
my
scampers
past
away.
life from
You
the
stopped the runner, and not a moment too
what's
soon.
it called? Wild
Who knows what
Sorcerer,
else the
Eladrin
kobold tribe might
Chaosmancer.
bring to
That's
bear
it.
against you.
If you've got 3 of those, you get three of those little wings charges to use, which can be very helpful, especially in the early levels when you don't have anything like that to draw on. Trying to make as much use as possible of the trip and stun. Cloak. No, I don't think so. That's one thing that's so nice when you're going back to the start. If you're on a character that you expect to do quite a bit of reincarnating with, this quiver of alacrity is just so nice not to have to mess about looking for speed items or clicking every 5 minutes or whatever on a thing to give you speed, and then having said speed run out halfway through the end fight or something. Yeah, it's a quality of
elderly
life thing, I
kobold
guess.
demands your attention, calling for the
Hello.
cessation of hostilities. The kobolds react to the news of their chief's death with what seems like relief. The elderly
Oh, it's
kobold
not
offers you
finished.
a reward for freeing the
Oh, you've got to
tribe from the
speak twice,
tyrannical
haven't
war
you?
chief. A secret door slides open in the common chamber. You've made a deal with the tribe. Strike down their leader to
I'm sure
gain
I've
his
done that
support.
before
According to the
on
kobold clan,
numerous
their
quests,
chief has been behaving
recalling
strangely
out
ever
before
since you
the
brought the
thing is
Song of Evil
finished,
Chaos to the
unbeknownst to
cave.
me.
She's happy to be rid of both the
I did
chief
it once in
and the
Giant
vital
Hold when
talisman.
somebody was trying to show me a shortcut in the Maze of Madness, and because I was so used to doing it one way, and in my one way, when the end boss is beaten, that's the end of the quest. But it wasn't in the way the people were showing me, and I was already out of the quest by the time they were telling me, no, no, no. Which is perhaps his reinforcement for the method I have of learning one way and just sticking with it, even if it proves to be way less than optimal.
This cave is said to contain much treasure. A burly minotaur stands behind a magical barrier, guarding a pile
For some
of
reason,
treasure.
these three at the start never seem to move. I don't quite know why.
Always more. The minotaur snorts. Greed draws you adventurers like
We
moths
got
to the flame.
Oh, hello. Two
Have
Reapers.
fun starving in my cave with the treasure
Oh, wow,
just
that was a
out of
big one.
reach.
Now, I said I was going to... I don't know exactly what that was. It looked like negative damage, didn't it? But I said I was going to swap the shield spell in. Our evasion should look after us against the trap.
Barrier. There must be more somewhere in the cave.
Come on then. What have I done here? I've gone completely wrong. I'm supposed to go to the other one first. I just missed it, didn't I? Okay, we've got a boss here, haven't we? Can we put him on the floor? Yes.
This should be enough crests to fill all of the sockets on the Minotaur's barrier.
Right, shrine. We said we were going to swap the spell. I think you can only do it when you're fully rested. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, thanks, Bat. Leave me alone. Are we rested? Can we now do the spell swapping thing? Yeah. So we want shield. Oh my god, where did you come from? So how long does that last? Is that just 2 minutes as well? No, that's 5 minutes, so that's perfect. Okay. So until we get a night shield clickable at level 4, but until then that's perfect.
With all three crests neatly fitted into their sockets,
You can see the two different electric things, the imbue and our little ruby going off on most of these hits.
Short as it collapses. Now the treasure the creature had been guarding is yours for the
Granite grippers, I'm wearing those for a bit of extra strength. Okay. Don't know why those are still there. We only have one level 1 spell, don't we? Yeah. I'll pick that up when we get a second level 1, but it won't be till midway through the leveling process because I'm going to put 8 fighter levels on after this.
As you walk deeper into the cave, you hear deep, guttural voices in the distance.
I don't know what happened there. I
You
tried the
notice a
stun thing
small
and
iron
missed
key
with it,
in
I
the
think.
corner of the room. The iron lock creaks as it
I
opens.
think they also get
hear
blur
faint
as a
footsteps
level
approaching.
2 spell, these monks.
The smell of meat cooking wafts
Which
tantalizingly
could
down the
come in
corridor.
quite handy.
You notice the glint of silver in the far corner of this chamber. As the first lever is pulled, the crystal above it flares into life.
Imbue-wise, there is actually another little one available fairly low down in the Dragon Disciple tree, I think, there. But other than that, I think we have to either put them on gear or pick them up from other trees, perhaps. Where am I going here?
The image of a small silver key is embossed on this surprisingly well-crafted lock. As the silver lock clicks open, you hear the muffled voices of bugbears ahead.
Nice.
As the second lever is pulled, you can hear the rumble of the sealed door sliding open. As you open the door, a massive bugbear
Get rid of
growls
the
and
caster.
attacks. As the chieftain
Okay.
dies, you notice a small ornate
I
key
forgot
on
to
the
put
table
our
in the
helmet
far
down
corner
there,
of the
didn't I?
room. The door to the treasury opens with a satisfying click.
I don't have a very low level bracer. I think I have. Oh, those are nice at level 2, aren't they? It's just my usual kind of piecemeal gear for the low level things. As many of us, I'm sure, I'm struggling inventory wise, so that's another reason not to experiment with the hybrid, with the caster type stuff as well, because that would have meant more gear in an already struggling TR cache.
Fearing for their lives, the people of the keep have asked for your help dealing with 2 orc tribes that dwell inside this cave. Judging from the decor, each direction leads to a different tribe's home.
I must have gone years running into that tripwire, either with me or a hireling, and not realizing what I'd done. I think they've either done it or they're going to do it in a patch to come soon. Something to do with the fear mechanic, aren't they? Is it to stop things running away quite so far? That kind of thing. Maybe it's to do with the causing less lag as well if they should
The
run away
lever
that
clicks into
far,
place, and the sound of grinding gears can be heard
as a
somewhere
lot
in
of
the
the
cave.
changes seem to be geared around ultimately keeping the lag down to manageable levels.
grinding gears can be heard once again as a gate opens somewhere in the cave.
And one thing to mention, as I've been leveling these melees, usually using cloth anyway to maximize the dodge bonus, using cloth for the purposes of staying centered really isn't hurting us at all, because it's what we would have been doing anyway. It's just juggling around a little bit the weapons that we're using in these early levels. I look forward to reacquainting myself with the elemental bloom, which, if you didn't know, comes from the rare encounters. It's a random drop from rare encounters in the Temple of Evil, in it, as far as I understand it.
Bones scattered on the floor, something large and dangerous has lived in this cave for some time. But the flicker of torchlight ahead suggests that there have been some more recent arrivals.
And if memory serves, even... Oh, crikey, get those gone. 3 Reapers, wow. Even fairly... Oh, don't fall asleep while the famine Reaper's there, my God, get up! They're gonna have to hit me for me to wake up, aren't they? Yeah.
The cult of evil chaos
Come
has set
on,
up
come
camp in
on.
this cave, with the goal of capturing and taming the beast.
Crikey, these
that lives
Reapers are
within.
out in force today. I think one thing for quarterstaff builds that is pretty popular is a level or 2 in Rogue. I think there's something fairly low-hanging fruit in there,
With the Beastmaster
in one of their
defeated,
trees, that
Luna's
gives
mod
extra
controlled the
attack
creature he
speed
tried to tame.
to quarterstaves, doesn't it? As far as I'm aware. But because we don't plan to stick with the quarterstaff, I won't do that.
You spot skittering vermin inside the cavern chamber ahead. You can also see the nest of something much larger. You've slain the owlbear,
Happy days.
ending the cult's plan to make the beast into a weapon they could use against the
Stone
residents of the
ring.
valley.
So we could have, yeah, we could go to acid imbue. I think I'm going to stick with electric, just because it's a bit higher from past lives. I think if you want to maximize acid, you can do some Blightcaster past lives, if memory serves. I don't think this character has any of those. Right, so we've not set any records, have we? But I think that's going okay. So the plan, as mentioned, is to go ahead and do 8 levels of fighter, push up the Kensai tree, and after that we'll take all the rest in Dragon Disciple to get the past life that we're looking for, and also further explore the other options of available to us of being centered. So we'll use the Kensai as the main tree, and all sorts of centered options from the monk trees as backup. I think at least that's the plan. And to go with quarterstaff until level 12, at which point we'll be able to use our trusty Sword of Shadows and still be centered. Okay, I think that's about it. I'll be back, let's say, at level 6, and we'll see how things are progressing. Thank you very much, as always, for looking, and happy questing. Take care.